Okay, I'm back. I don't know what happened there. Before I walked into the room, I actually dialed emergency 911 on my phone. And anyway, a random number was calling me, so I needed, I was worried. I needed to answer it because I was worried it was the police. Anyway, it interrupted our broadcast. So I hope you're all back. I hope you'll hop back on or you'll see me in the group again. I apologize for that little mix up that we went through there. Sometimes it's live, so it happens. All right, we're gonna quickly run through them again. Diamonds, diapers, divorce, deadlines, debt, downsizing, death. Distance was the one we ended on. So distance could be a relocation or a commute change. Dreams, upgrade, lifestyle, move. So, maybe they just have the dreams and they can afford more now. So they're needing to or wanting to purchase a different house. Discomfort. For whatever reason, they could be no longer comfortable in where they're living now. I mean, it could be one of these things we just mentioned, or maybe it's just they have their own reason for not wanting to live there anymore. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to dive into each one of them separately to talk about, like, where would we look for these 10 Ds, okay? So first of all, I want you to think about it this way. Before you even start, you could do a social poll. I love this because this could actually identify any of the 10 Ds. It doesn't have to be a specific one. So the social poll is how you find the people in a D situation without them actually raising their hand directly. So your poll could be two options that they choose. One is thinking about moving this year. Two is wondering what my home could sell for. Anyone that answers that poll could potentially be a lead for you that falls into one of those 10 categories. So think about that. The follow-up script then is, hey, I saw you voted on my poll. Are you just curious, or do you have a specific home in mind? Or, are you actually thinking about selling? That right there, they've kind of invited you to follow up and check in with them by answering your poll, right? So they've kind of like raised their hand. The other one that I love that I actually do a couple times a year is I will just let people know that I'm mentoring agents in my office on how to do a CMA and how to perfect the process. So I will do a post in social media that basically says, I'm mentoring an agent in my office. I'm looking for guinea pigs to do market analysis on. If you're even curious at all about your home value, put your name down below or send me a private message, and I'll use your property as a guinea pig for this training that I'm doing in my office. And I would say when I do that post on social media, I will usually get minimum like 10 or 15 responses to that post. And then what I do after that is I will go into the DMs and say, oh, hey, Julie, thanks so much for commenting on my post about the free CMA. I can definitely put a CMA together for you. If you truly are thinking about moving, I would need to set up an appointment to come over and see your house just to get a value that is more accurate. So what point are you at? Are you really thinking about moving, or are you more curious? Because if they're more curious and they signed up for your free CMA, they're going to, you're not going to do like a deep dive CMA. You're going to do just a quick overview of their home and their neighborhood and whatever. When I do that post and I offer to do those for people, I make it very clear in the DM before I spend time doing a really thorough market analysis on their home. I want to make sure what stage they're in. Again, because if they raise their hand for it and they're truly thinking about moving, then of course I want to make sure that I'm giving them the most accurate data that I can give them. So I'm gonna actually take my time to do a real market analysis for them. And I might actually, before doing it, just say, hey, in order for me to get a really accurate value for your home, it makes the most sense for me to come by, take a look at it, and then I can give you a more detailed breakdown of what your home's worth. So that's another one. Go ahead and post that on social media. Just tell people, I'm training an agent in my office, and who wants to be my guinea pig, and you'll probably get a lot of responses from that. Okay, so going back to your social post, another one that you could do, another social post that you could do is, hey, quick question. I just helped someone buy near, let's just say near Summer Street. We had a few buyers miss out because it was a multiple offer situation. So I said I'd call around the neighborhood before sending them somewhere else. Have you heard of anyone in your neighborhood that's thinking about selling? Now, this is circle prospecting. And I know you guys are probably sitting there saying, but Jill, you're the coach that talks about hyper local and not having to cold call and whatever. You don't have to cold call. So, it's an option for you if you don't mind doing it. My partner loves cold calling, and he does this circle prospecting all the time and still gets leads. It still works for you if you want to do it. Now, if you're not comfortable with cold calling, you could do that same script as a social media post. Just say, hey, I'm working with some buyers right now who are in the Somerset area. We had a few buyers miss out on a property there. So I'm checking around to see if anyone in Somerset is thinking about selling their home. And that could get you some potential leads who are kind of raising their hand. So that's just another way. All right, so your vendor referral loop. So this is another one, and I know I talk a lot about building out the vendor guide and having a really good, solid partnership with your vendors. But think about it this way. Our vendors see the D situations before we ever do. So when you're thinking about your vendors, like your house painters, your window cleaners, your house cleaners, maybe air duct cleaners, HVAC people, those people, those vendors have a good possibility of being in front of our Ds before we do. So again, this is why it's so important to have a really good relationship with these vendor partners, because quite often they meet your potential buyers and sellers before you do. So that could be important, making sure that you're connecting with them often enough so that they still remember you if they're working with someone in a situation that's going to be upsizing or downsizing or going through a divorce. They might not have contacted a realtor yet. So, if the window washers, they're washing the windows and the wife just says, yeah, we're selling our house, we're divorcing or whatever, and that's our next step. If your vendor is someone you have a really great relationship with, they may say, hey, I have a great realtor partner if you haven't already contacted a realtor. So that's where the vendor situation can be really important. So next thing we're going to talk about briefly is networking. So a lot of people, when they go networking, or a lot of agents, when they do their networking, they will stand up in front of the group and say, my name is Jill. I'm a local real estate agent. I you know, I am always looking for listings, and, you know, I love helping buyers find new homes. Well, that's kind of generic, right? So it's kind of like a Mary Kay consultant who stands up in a networking group and says, I help anyone with skin. Well, like, who? If you're not more specific than that, no one comes to my mind. You know, when the Mary Kay person in the group says, I help anyone with skin, like, to me, I'm not going to think of anyone in my sphere of influence, because everyone in my sphere of influence has skin. So as agents, when we have a specific ask at a networking event, we need to be specific with our ask. So, you know, maybe instead of saying, you know, I help buyers buy homes and sellers sell their homes, you know, you're looking for a seller who's downsizing. This week, I'm looking for someone that just had a baby and needs more space. This week, I am looking for someone who's encountering a divorce situation. So when you're at a networking group and you're doing your commercials, if you specifically ask for someone who, you know, my ask for this week is a couple who may be divorcing, right away, the people in the room, they're scanning their brain, asking themselves, who do I know who's going through a divorce that might need Jill's help? It's more like your mind can go right into the file cabinet and scan the file cabinet to be like, who do I know who's divorcing? Where if I just say, oh yeah, I'm a local realtor, I help buyers and sellers, and I'm licensed in Minnesota and Wisconsin, again, it's such a broad area and a broad topic. They're not like specific enough to where they're scanning their brain going, who can I refer to Jill? So just remember, another one that I love to do at networking is FSBOs. I will let them know, hey, if you're driving around town and you see a FSBO sign, a for sale by owner sign in someone's yard, take a picture of the sign and text it to me. That's a great help for me. And then I call and I follow up and I see if I can get that listing. So anyway, just one more thing to think about. Like, if we are not specific enough when we're asking for referrals, people don't know how to help us. So we have to really think it through, like how we're helping them. Or they don't, it's too broad of a range to, you know, for them to be able to help us. So we have to, again, people want to help us. Sometimes they don't know how. So we need to train them how to help us. And this is partly too where gifting for a referral is such an important part of this this business, because, you know, I think about the Facebook. I know you guys who have been following me for a while, you have heard me talk about my process for Facebook. When someone is mentioning that they need a realtor in one of my community groups, even if it's not my community group, because I do have my own community group, usually my name gets mentioned more than anyone else's in any other agent in the group. And here's why. I'm going to tell you why. In the early days of Facebook, when someone would mention my name, I send them a gift. I don't wait to see if I get the business. I don't wait to see if I get a referral. If Kayla Van Effen mentions my name, Kathy Windolf mentions my name, they're getting a treat from me in the mail. Like, I send it out the very same day. I have processes in place where I go to my spreadsheet at the local bakery and I say, send Kathy Windolf, send Kayla Van Effen cookies. And the bakery, she keeps my pre-written, I handwrite all these cards ahead of time, and then she just puts the name on them and puts them in the envelope. And they're getting a branded McNamee Team card with the cookies. and my friend that owns the bakery sends my card out with the cookies. So now the last Facebook shout out that I got in a Facebook group, there was probably 150 responses to this comment. My name was mentioned 24 times. I sent out 24 groups of cookies from the bakery because I'm training them. And some people are like, well, you know, you're treating them like you'd train a dog or whatever. It's kind of weird. It works. And the last 2 closings I had in March were from that instance when my name was mentioned 24 times. I got to the listing appointment. The lady ended up calling me. She must have looked me up on Facebook because she literally called me out of the blue. And she said to me, I knew you were my girl. She goes, your name was mentioned in that Facebook group more than anyone else's. I knew you must be the person. And I sold her house in Bloomington, Minnesota, and we sold her a house in Hudson in less than 6 weeks. So from the day my name was mentioned 24 times, 6 weeks later, I had gotten 2 closings from it. So yes, it cost me a couple $100s to send 24 people cookies. But the fact that they know if they put my name down that I'm going to incentivize them in some way, shape, or form, they're going to continue putting now they're going to look for opportunity in those groups to put my name down. And, you know, here's the thing, you guys. The first time they put my name down, they genuinely put my name down because they think I'm the best. They love me. They know my character, whether they've worked with me or not. They think I'm the one that's going to do the best job, or they wouldn't have put my name down. Well, once they put your name down, incentivizing them, that's just a reward for something that they would have done anyway. So that's how I want you to think about this. And if you can't afford a, $25 set of cookies from the bakery, that's okay. Even if it's just a handwritten note with nothing in it. Or, you could do, when I first started doing this, I went to the local coffee shop and got $5 coffee cards. I just bought $100 in $5 coffee cards, and I kept them in my drawer for that very opportunity when I needed to do those thank yous for the Facebook shout outs. So this is why, going back to the referrals, people genuinely want to help us. Sometimes they just don't know how. So by teaching them, putting my name down in a Facebook group helps me. So here's the other thing that I also want to share with you is the Great Retrace. And if you follow Michael Mayer, he talks about the Great Retrace all the time. When I had those 2 closings in February, I sent a handwritten note to all of those 24 people. And I said, hey, Kayla, I just wanted to let you know I had 2 closings in the month of March because you put my name down in a Facebook community group. I just wanted to say thank you for that. You're letting them know, hey, Kayla, I got paid because you put my name down. Thank you for putting my name down. If you think about it, okay, so it happens like this. She puts my name down. She gets cookies from the bakery. I'm following up, letting her know, because of you, I got paid. How many times do you refer a listing or buyer referral to another agent in another city, and then you're wondering, like, what the hell, ever even happened? Did Jill get a listing appointment? Did she ever talk to the potential buyer? Am I getting paid, right? There's nothing worse than giving an agent referral to another agent who you never hear from again. That's kind of what it's like when our sphere sends you a referral or they put your name down in a Facebook group. They want to know, did I ever get any business out of that, or am I wasting my time? By me doing the Great Retrace and sending them a thank you card to say, hey, I got paid because you put my name down, now they're going to want to do it even more, because realtors are not always the easiest people to refer because they don't always run across people who are moving, you know? So anyway, I kind of went down a rabbit hole there with referring, but my whole point at the end of the day goes back to the people in our sphere really do want to help us. We need to train them how to help us. And by gifting them, when you're gifting them for the action and the activity of them referring, you're not waiting to see what the outcome is. Because waiting till the outcome, then it's kind of like, oh, I'll send you treats if I get business from it. No, I don't even care. I want to send you treats immediately when you send me the referral, even if I don't know if it's going to turn into business or not. I don't really care. I want a reward for the activity of you sending me the referral, okay? So that's what I have to say about referrals. I know, like I said, I went down a rabbit hole. So what we're gonna talk about now, we're gonna go through each one and we're gonna talk about where to find these people. So while we're pivoting, I'm gonna go back to the group just to see. Hi Shauna, I'm glad you're watching. I'm sorry about that little internet glitch. I hope you guys are still seeing me. Anyway, I can see your comments. So if you have questions, just go ahead and ask. Okay. So first we're going to talk about diamonds. Diamonds are engagement, marriage. Where are we going to look for them? We're going to look for triggers, Facebook relationship status changes. If you see someone just got engaged, that is a trigger. You know, eventually they might be buying a house. Engagement posts. My friend Steve just posted that he was at his son's bachelor party. So guess what? I might reach out to my friend Steve and say, hey, I saw that you were at Brandon's bachelor party. You know, when's the wedding? And just like, I'm not going to say to Steve, and I just sold Steve's dad's house. So, I mean, with a person like Steve, I could totally call him up and be like, hey, dude, I just saw that you spent the weekend at Brandon's bachelor party. When's he going to be buying a house? And joke it off. I could do that with Steve because he's that kind of friend for me. But if this is someone you don't really know, I would approach it a little differently. I would maybe send Steve a message and say, hey, Steve, I just noticed, you know, that you spent the weekend at Brandon's bachelor party. When's the wedding? How exciting. Congratulations. And I would end it there. I would not mention anything about real estate because remember, you guys, we're showing up as the human being first and the realtor second. So again, if I just show up with Steve, who I didn't know very well, and I started blasting real estate, like, hey, when's Brandon going to be buying a house? That's gross. Like, I would never do that to Steve. But I could congratulate him and be like, hey, the bachelor party looked like you had a ton of fun. When's the wedding? How exciting. And then you're opening the conversation and just seeing where it leads, okay? So same with bridal shows, wedding vendors, Instagram announcements. Again, it could be as easy as DMing them and being like, you know, hey, Julie, I saw your big news. Congratulations. Have you guys started thinking, you know, well, first of all, I would ask her, you know, where are you guys going to settle, or when's the wedding? You know, again, you're not jumping into real estate right now because, again, that you're approaching people in a way that is not truly caring for them. It's more, it comes across as being single-sided, like Jill just wants a real estate deal, right? So it opens the door for conversation. And then once you start talking to them, it might lead you down the path of, where if they're moving and, you know, if they're going to need, but I wouldn't be asking that right off the bat. Okay, so the other thing is, you could do a random blanket social post that says, hey, has your living situation, is it going to be changing? Are you thinking about, do you have a wedding in your future? I've helped a lot of couples figure out what the next step is. You could do something like that. But I would never like DM someone and be like, hey, I saw you were getting married. I'd love to help you buy a house. That's just weird. Okay, so diapers. Number 2 is diapers. Babies, growing families. Okay, where to look. We're going to be looking for pregnancy announcements. We're going to look for baby showers. We're going to look for hospital check-ins, family photos changing. One thing that I like to do, and I should have actually brought it in here to show you, but I have a onesie that I had my designer create. On the front, it says, time for a new crib. And then it has in teeny, teeny, tiny writing, the McNamee team logo on it. And at the end of the logo, she added like a little rattle. So anyway, I'll take a picture of it and I'll throw it in the Facebook group so you guys can see it. But sending them the onesie with a little baby gift after the baby is born, it opens the door for conversation. The onesie does the talking for me. Like, I don't have to call them and be like, hey, Megan, I saw that you guys just had a baby. Are you going to be needing more space soon? Like, I don't have to do that. I can send them the onesie that says time for a new crib in the mail with a little baby gift. And guess what? Megan is going to call me on the phone and thank me for the onesie. And then it starts a conversation. So there's so many ways to put yourself in their, kind of in front of them so that the conversation starts. And of course, it's always going to lead to real estate. It just always does. Okay. So, anyway, like I said, again, it's not me calling them and being, hey, I saw you had a baby. Do you need to buy a bigger house? Just send them a cute little onesie that says time for a new crib and call it good. All right. The next one is divorce. So where do we look for divorces? Well, probably my favorite way is attorneys, having relationships with attorneys that do family law, divorce attorneys. You could look for subtle social changes on their social media. If all you're seeing are photos of the wife alone and you're not seeing any pictures of the spouse anymore. This actually happened to some past clients of mine. They were a couple that I helped a couple different times purchase, buy and sell homes over the years. And all of a sudden I started noticing that one of them was posting photos of them they have 5 kids, and she was always alone with the 5 kids. And I'm like, what is going on? And me and Zach actually had a conversation about it. And I'm like, do you think they're splitting up? And sure enough, then Susie, the wife, called me and just said, hey, we're splitting up. I don't know if you've noticed, but blah, 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 blah. And so anyway, she's going to be eventually looking for a new place. So, so if one person's missing from the photos, and again, I would have never called Susie and said, hey, what's going on? I just wouldn't do that with someone like that. But, you could look for other ways to connect with that person. If you see a hint, especially with a divorce situation, I could easily reach out to Susie and just say, hey, Merry Christmas. Just wanted to check in and wish you guys a Merry Christmas, or use some other reason to check in with them. That's not me going, hey, are you getting a divorce? You know what I mean? It's just do a check-in and just say hi, and maybe the conversation will start. And then too, if you really, really want to get, You can always search public records looking for people who you know that are divorcing. I mean, I've never personally done that myself. I'm all about relationship, obviously. I talk about it so often, but you know, having that hyper local connection, I would rather have relationships with divorce attorneys because they're going to think of me right away when they have a new divorce client. Okay, so let's see. Deadlines, job moves. Maybe their lease is ending. You know, a deadline doesn't necessarily mean that they're being relocated. It could mean that their lease is up. Maybe they're renting and they have an impending deadline that they have to find a new place, or maybe they are being relocated. So that's another one. Job change posts could be a trigger. Any LinkedIn updates that you might see. Rental conversations, we're moving type posts. Anything like that could be an indication that someone's going to has an impending deadline that they're needing to meet. And again, you know, this is when I would, if I see anything like that, I would just do a random check-in post like, hey, you know, just wanted to, you know, scroll their Facebook, see what's going on in their life. And maybe you'll see something like a kid going off to college, or they just went on a vacation. There's so many different ways. If you go on someone's social media and just sort of scan their social media, you're going to find a reason to reach out to them. If for whatever reason you think they could be making a move, just find another reason to call them. All right, debt. Number 5 is debt. Financial pressure. So again, this could be maybe subtle, probably not obvious if someone, I mean, nowadays people are actually going on social media in my area and asking people for money and saying, you know, I'm going through hard times or whatever. I wouldn't reach out to that person that's doing that and say, hey, do you need to sell your house? I mean, I would never do that without it being, without them reaching out about to me. But there could be conversations on social media about stress or job loss or some sort of lifestyle shift. I feel like that one is definitely going to be more subtle. It's not going to be totally obvious. So, and then downsizing. Number 6 is downsizing. Kids graduating from high school could be a trigger. Empty nest post could definitely be a trigger. Comments about home maintenance, or, you know, having too much house, or just aging homeowners. I mean, people in my age group, you know, in the early 60s, or, you know, as they're getting into their mid 60s. So, okay, number 7 is death. Okay, so that could mean you, maybe you know someone who inherited a house. Maybe you see a post on Facebook that your friend Julie's father passed away or something like that. Again, you're not going to call and just say, hey, I saw your dad passed away. I'm so sorry for your loss. Do you need to sell the house? Like, you're not going to do that. You're just going to show up as the human first, and real estate will just naturally happen if they need you. But, you know, you could even look for obituary posts on social media, any kind of family posts, community group. And again, just, you know, make sure that you're reaching out in a way that feels genuine, and just, you know, letting them know that you're sorry for their loss. And the conversation just might lead to them needing help with you selling the house. Number 8 is distance, which could mean relocation. It could be a commute for a job. Where to look could be, you know, we're relocating out of state. It could be a job transfer, someone talking about a job transfer on social media, complaints about the commute, the long commute time. In fact, I had a past client reach out to me when we sold their home up north. they were downsizing. So we sold their home up north. They're moving. They actually wanted to rent for like a year to just see where they wanted to end up. But they're still too far from work. And she said, you know, we were going to stay here a whole year, but because we have the flexibility to move and buy now, you know, my husband just can't stand the hour-long commute to work anymore. So we're gonna accelerate our purchase. So it could be a job commute. So just keep your eye open for that. Number 9, dreams could be, you know, they're upgrading. You know, maybe they inherited some money, maybe one of them got a big raise and they can afford more now, and their lifestyle is changing. Maybe, you know, since they can afford more, maybe they just want more house. So, you know, where to look there, again, it's going to be the someday conversations, vacation posts, you know, someone maybe with interest in a new build. And then the last one is discomfort. So this could be someone, I mean, here's the thing that's so interesting about all of this is social triggers. And so, you know, people, especially in my local circle, people that follow me on social media and they know that I post 10 times a day, they will often say like, are you on social media literally like 8 hours a day? Because how do you post 10 times a day and not be on social media all day? And I'm just very purposeful about how I'm spending my time when I am on social media. So I get up at 5 every single day. I call it coffee and couch time. I do my coffee and couch time. While I'm on the couch, I'm on social media. I'm either posting some of my posts, I'm scheduling my content, and I am specifically looking for triggers like these that we just talked about today. I'm just scanning social media quickly. I'm engaging with people. I'm commenting on their posts. I'm DMing them. I'm looking for others to share. If you go onto my Jill McNamee Facebook personal page, it's my creator account, it's just Jill McNamee. If you go on there and you scroll back, you're going to see more posts of me promoting local people in my community more than me posting about me. It's just what I do. And that's why, you know, that's why I'm known in the community as a community leader, because I'm always uplifting others. And I spend more of my time on social media, like saying nice things about others in the community or promoting their businesses or whatever. Like, that's just part of how I spend my time on social media. So all of these triggers, these 10 random things that we're talking about today, the 10 Ds, these are all on social media. You will find all of triggers for all of these on social media. So the last one is really discomfort. They don't like their house anymore, plain and simple. They want something different. They complain about the layout. They complain about neighbor issues. We need more space, renovation frustration. So, you know, again, you have to ask yourself, like, at what point does fixing your house not make sense for you anymore? Maybe it's time for a new house. So anyway, it is funny though, how everything that we talked about today, these 10 Ds, they're all triggers that you're going to see on social media if you pay attention. So this is the other piece is, are you paying attention to what people are posting? Or are you on social media just killing time scrolling TikTok or whatever? Are you making the time that you're spending on social media truly useful? And are you making it work for you? Because if you're not making it work for you, then yeah, like you are kind of just doom scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or your weapon of choice. So I am very purposeful with the time that I'm spending on social media. And I actually keep track of all my posts in a notebook. So, I mean, that's a whole nother training on how to post 10 times a day, where to post, all of that, that I'll maybe go back to again. I did do a Facebook Live on it a few months ago. Well, it's probably September of 2025. If you look back to September, I did a whole live training on what I was doing in my challenge. It started, me posting 10 times a day started as a challenge that my coach actually she was doing it herself. And I'm like, okay, she didn't even invite me to do it, but I'm like, I'm joining you. I want to see what happens. And anyway, it was crazy. I started out at about 90,000. I was averaging about 90,000 views in every 28-day period. Now I'm averaging 1.4 million views in 28 days, so less than a month. So if I can do it, you guys can do it. Maybe it's not 10 times a day for you. If you're already only posting 3 times a week, maybe your goal is post 1 time a week or something like that. But anyway, again, it's spending your time when you're online with intention. You're being intentional about what you're posting, how you're spending your time on there. All right, so that's what I have for you today. Before I log off, does anyone, if you have a question, drop it below. It looks like I have 2 live feeds going on Facebook right now because we got disconnected. Anyway, okay, so it looks like nobody has any questions. I hope that you guys got value from today's conversation. Remember the 10 Ds. Maybe jot it down, keep it by your desk so you don't forget about it, because those are the triggers. Like, our job is really, our job is to find the people that are going through these 10D, the changes. And we, if we're constantly paying attention and being intentional about looking for them, it's kind of like the RAS goes to work for you. So if you don't know what a RAS is, it's your reticular activator that we all have in our brain. So like, let's just say I want to buy a new car, and my car that I want to buy is, let's just say it's a Equinox. That's what I drive. I want to get the new 2026 or 2027 Equinox. I'm going to start seeing that car everywhere just because my brain is thinking about it. So this is kind of the same way. Like, if you put these 10 Ds down on a little postcard and leave it sitting next to your desk, you're going to start seeing, it's all going to start coming together for you. Like, you're going to hear people talking and you're going to be like, oh, that's the diaper situation. Oh, that person was just at a baby shower or a wedding shower or whatever. And it's the perfect opportunity to reach out to them. So anyway, so that's all I have for you guys today. Like I said, I hope it provided value. If you could do me a huge, huge favor, if you've ever gotten value from my group, share the group, invite your friends. That would help me out a ton. And I will see you next week. And too, if you have a certain topic that you want me to train or teach or talk on, put it in the group. Go ahead and, ask questions in the group. And that helps me to deliver content that you guys actually want to learn about. So anyway, okay, have a great day, everybody.